She broke up with me. What do I do? Can she come back? How can I get her back? Can't get her to talk to me. It's all so fucked up. I feel like crying. She gave me a pen. Gave my heart and she gave me a pen.
Welcome to the Schirmer High Alumni Association. I'm Kristin.
I'm Jeannine.
And I'm Carole.
And we rewatch movies from the 80s to determine, did that age well? This week's movie is the 1989 classic, Say Anything.
Some movies don't just capture a time. They capture a feeling. Say Anything isn't really about romance or high school or even growing up. It's about that moment when you realize that love isn't supposed to make sense. It's supposed to make you brave.
Watching it now, it hits differently. It's honest in a way that most 80s movies weren't. No gloss, no easy answers, just two people trying to figure out what comes next.
It's a movie that reminds us that growing up means saying what you mean, even when you're not sure anyone's listening to you. Join us for our 20th episode as we rewind, rewatch, and remember the decade that shaped us.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
How's everyone's day?
Quick. It's a fast day.
Yeah, totally
It was
phenomenal.
a fast day.
Was it take your tiny to work day?
She refused to go.
Shut up.
Oh.
I swear. We packed up all of her stuff this morning, had her little to-go bag, and she got her collar on, and she walked to the door, and then she backed up like, I'm not going.
Really?
Yeah. And so Jason, my husband, I don't know if I've mentioned that before, he put her in the car and she was shaking like a leaf. And I was like, oh, we better take her back in the house. So
Aw.
she didn't want to go to work today.
Did someone offend her?
I don't know, but my boss was like, so how do we entice her to come to work? And I said, you'd have to probably give her like beef jerky. And he was like, order it, put it on my credit card. And I was like, okay. He's like, buy her whatever she wants.
I love that.
Yeah. So she's next time she comes to work, she'll have beef jerky waiting for her.
Oh, I would like that too.
I
I know you
I
wouldn't,
think so.
but
Right.
I'll take some beef jerky.
How come I don't get
Yeah.
any snacks?
yeah.
Right?
People are really excited to see a dog. They're not excited to see me.
Because they've seen you every day for the past like 30 years.
400 years, actually.
Oh,
Just
I was
celebrated.
off by a few.
Yeah, just celebrated.
Right. So with no tiny, you were able to watch Say Anything at work?
Well, I already had watched it earlier in the week. So,
How did you guys watch it?
Prime.
oh, don't ask me how I watched it. I might have had
watched it.
I might have had to have watched it. Oh, somewhere.
Okay.
It
We don't
was-
want to talk publicly about whatever illegal way you used to watch
Yeah,
it.
so I mean, the only way that you can really watch it is to pay for it.
I
Yes.
know.
It's
and
a
I paid
very
for it twice.
Oh no, it's
I
a
know.
very hard movie to find.
It is, which is a bummer.
Yeah,
I
'Cause
might
it's
as well have just bought it.
right.
I contemplated just buying it for $5 more than renting it, but
I know.
And usually I can watch anything on Internet Archive, but they didn't
I
have it.
know. This is a well-protected movie.
Very.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
maybe I kind of understand, but also it should be everywhere.
It should.
It really should be everywhere, and we're gonna really talk. There's a lot to talk about. I don't think this is gonna be like the longest episode we've ever done, but like there's just so much to talk about with this movie.
Yeah. Say Anything is a 1989 romantic comedy drama about an unlikely summer romance between a high school underachiever and the class valedictorian. The story follows Lloyd Dobler, who is played by John Cusack. Love John. A good-hearted and optimistic aspiring kickboxer as he attempts to win the heart of Diane Court, who is played by Ione Skye, the brilliant, beautiful, and sheltered top student of their graduating class. Against all expectations, especially those of his friends, Diane reciprocates his feelings. Their romance blossoms over the summer, but their differences and the pressure from Diane's overprotective and doting father, James Court, who's played by John Mahoney, pose a major challenge. The relationship is further complicated by Diane's prestigious fellowship to study in England at the end of the summer and the revelation of her father's criminal investigation by the IRS for embezzling funds from his retirement home. The film explores themes of the first love, the transition into adulthood, and the difficult choices faced by young people at a crossroads in their lives.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
talk about who's in this movie.
That was a great synopsis.
Thank you.
So we have the amazing John Cusack.
Just
Hmm.
he's can you
He's
there's
awesome.
just that he is.
He's great.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
And he is an American actor and activist with a career spanning over 4 decades and more than 80 films. He's known for his roles in 1980s coming of age movies like 16 Candles, Better Off Dead, and Say Anything. Cusack is known for being outspoken about Hollywood, the US government, and war. He's also known for working with his family, including his sister Joan Cusack in his films, which she was in this one as well.
Yes.
Ione Skye Lee. What a name.
Mhm.
I know, right?
Awesome name. Well, she's a British American actress, author, and artist. Best known for her role as Diane Court in Say Anything. Skye's other film credits include Wayne's World, Gas Food Lodging, One Night Stand, and Fever Pitch. In 2006, VH1 ranked Skye 84th on their list of the 100 greatest teen stars.
I think she should have been higher.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to see this list.
Yes.
Right.
And then we have John Mahoney. I love John Mahoney. And he is an award-winning American actor. He was born in England and was the 7th of 8 children. Long interested in acting, Mahoney didn't make the transition to his craft until he was almost 40 years old. And in 1986, Mahoney won a Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play for The House of Blue Leaves in 1987. He was best known for playing the role of the father of the character Frasier. He later concentrated on stage work back in Chicago, where he passed away in 2018. I forgot he passed away. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So other than these 3 leading actors, we also have Joan Cusack.
Of course.
We have, naturally, Jeremy Piven,
Mhm.
Pamela Segal, who was in Grease 2,
Mhm.
B. Newirth, Eric Stoltz.
Frasier's ex-wife. Frasier's dad and
Right.
Frasier's ex-wife are all in this
Nice.
movie.
And good old Eric
And
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. Love him.
Yeah.
And also we have music by Living Color, Cheap Trick, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Peter Gabriel, and Depeche Mode and Fishbone.
Nice.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
awesome.
and I feel like any movie John Cusack has been a part of, it has amazing music.
Of course, it has to.
You know, I don't know if he has any part in that or not, but man, it's a good soundtrack. So I had to note it.
Very good.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. John Mahoney, love him because he was Frasier's dad.
He
Like
was
Frasier's dad. Don't you love to hate him? I don't know. Like this role it's a great role. It's a great role. Creepy, maybe a little bit. But I wish we would have seen Ione Skye in more things. I thought she was excellent. I remember when this came out, like she just had a cool name and she's so pretty and like, yeah, just absolutely love her.
Agreed.
Yeah. So let's just jump into it. You ready?
Let's roll.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so we open the movie on graduation day, high school graduation day, and you see the protagonist of the movie, Lloyd Dobler, played by John Cusack, is hanging out with his friends. Oh, I didn't mention her in the actors as well as Lily Taylor plays Corey. So Lloyd is hanging out with his friends Corey and DC. They are talking about graduation, and I think like Corey doesn't want to go because some teacher wrote something weird in her yearbook, blah blah blah. And he's deciding he's, going to ask Diane Court out. And and they're trying to be so nice to him. They're trying to, his friends are trying, nice, but like you get this undertone that Corey is constantly using her own self-made sort of drama out on him, and DC can't get a word in edgewise. But we also see, Diane is driving with her father to the graduation ceremony, and she's, trying some pieces and parts out for her valedictorian speech. And she sort of delivers this one line, and the dad thinks it's hilarious, and it's not. So she decides she's going to keep that little joke in her speech.
Makes me wonder if
And
you really thought it was funny or if he was just like appeasing her.
right, what was sincere out of him? Like, I
Right.
don't even know. Yeah, ugh, he irks me so bad. And we go back to Lloyd, and he's taking his own picture for graduation, and it was just so like sad. We come to learn, why nobody was with him. You don't know that at this point, though. You just see him setting up his own camera to take his own picture.
No, but I totally appreciated it because I've been in the market for a senior photo photographer and it's stupid. So take your own photo.
We get to the graduation ceremony, and we have a gentleman up on stage singing Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All.
Classic.
And it's absolutely terrible.
It was hilarious.
It was so funny. It was like, who allowed this? Who like it was the most like willy-nilly graduation. Everyone's just sort of hunched over. Not everyone
Yeah.
has like everything zipped. Can you imagine if you tried to do that at your graduation, Carol?
Oh gosh, no.
That wouldn't have gone well. Even at ours, like we had practices. This was like people just
Yeah.
kind of showed up.
Right.
I never
And so,
graduated.
oh, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thanks.
The principal thanks Joe for his performance, and Joe kind of gets those last words out about 8 Kegger at, I can't pronounce his name, Baylor's, Eric Stoltz's house. And the principal comes up to the podium, and you see from the podium that this is Lakewood High School,
Yes.
Oh
right
yeah.
on Ranger High. And the principal, just the way he introduces Diane is so cringy, but not like in a
Weird.
cringe meter sort of way, but like in a, oh, like is this is how she's being introduced to her school. Like I'm getting spittle on myself. Like I'm so upset.
It
He
was more
just,
emotional than academic.
it was like oceanography, history, but it was like, okay,
Yeah.
like,
It was weird.
and like, and he introduces her, and it's just like this, like barely anyone's clapping. Because nobody knows her, right? You know, she gets up there and she's gonna do her speech as the valedictorian of the class, and she delivers her line like, I've had a glimpse of the future, and all I have to say is go back. I I get the sense, we all get the like sentiment of it, but like it just doesn't hit,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't deliver.
It does not deliver at all. Completely falls flat. And so graduation is over,
Well, at the
and
graduation ceremony, she changed it from go back to I'm scared.
well, no, she says go back, but at the end of her speech, she does say, she gives her that joke. It falls flat, only the dad laughs. And at the
Gotcha.
end of
Okay.
it, she says what she does know. What she does
Yes.
know is that the future, she doesn't know that, you can't predict what the future is going to bring. And
Word, girl.
that she's scared. And that was a great Gru sentiment, right? Like, and we'll talk about this in the reviews and our own feelings about this movie, but it was like, that was real. Like, it wasn't lip service. It wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't bullshit, right?
Right.
And they get to the end of it, and everyone's just kind of mingling about on the lawn. And, you see Diane and her dad off, kind of sort of talking to some people. And then Lloyd is with Corey, I believe in Corey's mom and DC. And he asks Corey can you take a picture of me with Diane Court? Which really doesn't mean take a picture of him with Diane Court. So Corey knows the mission. She knows what she has to do. And so he does this kind of walk by as Diane's dad is presenting her with her graduation gift, which is a car. It was probably a $9,000 car. But and so as she's going, that Lloyd walks by, and they get that snap of them together.
In her manual transmission Ford Tempo.
Oh, it was a Ford Tempo.
Yes.
I didn't look it up. That's awesome.
Yep.
So Lloyd is back at the apartment, and his sister, who's his actual sister, who plays his sister in the movie, comes in with his nephew, apologizing for not making it to the graduation. She feels bad about it because mom and dad are in Germany because that is where the dad is stationed in the army. So we kind of get some backstory, like he's still in the US with his sister who has a kid. Parents are okay, they're just overseas. But it also gives you an idea that Lloyd is well traveled, that he has not grown up here, perhaps, that he's been around the block a little bit, has a little bit of life experience, which I think is interpreted as no ambition. But we'll debate that. So the nephew, I believe, was sent home sick or something like that from daycare. And Lloyd is playing with him. And Constance is his sister too. She gets all like mad at him about them playing. And I don't have that line, but I do have that line where
Yep.
so Lloyd is talking to his nephew, Jason, or J-Man, and he's just trying to bring him out of his shell because he's not feeling good, blah, blah, blah. And he keeps yelling like, yeah, yeah. It's like some sort of boxing or kickboxing thing. And they do this bit. They do this bit where Lloyd goes,
Hey, my brother, can I buy a copy of your Hey Soul Classics?
No, my brother, you have to go buy your own.
and that is a very obscure commercial from the early 80s for a record album called Hey Soul Classics. And so it was just a riff off of that. I had to look it up because I was like, what are they doing? I wasn't really sure. So that was from that. And that's when Constance just sort of lays into Lloyd and she just yells at him. She's like, why can't you be his uncle and not his playmate? And my initial reaction to that is that an uncle's job?
Yeah,
Right.
he's exactly being an uncle.
Yes.
Right. What's an right? So she's obviously projecting on him, really just probably kind of meaning a parent, like the dad who's not there anymore.
Yes.
Because he's doing he's a good uncle for a teenage guy, 18 years old, being that engaged with J-Man. He's a very good uncle. We go back to Diane's house. She's standing by a $9,000 jukebox. And her dad has one more gift to give her. And he's kind of drawing it out. And he goes into this, what is that called? Little chest guy. It might have a more proper name to it.
Yeah.
But and Diane, like he opens it, but Diane can't see what he's pulling out. And he pulls out this like nice decorative box. And he says something about like, this is the only thing of your mother's I kept, which is weird. And so he hands it to her and he's like, but open it up. And he bought his daughter like an engagement ring. Sorry.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something just a little. I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm really not trying to be creepy, but there's something creepy about it. I don't know.
It feels weird in that scene, but then later on when like she's looking through the house, I don't want to give too much away. She
Well,
shows
everyone's seen it.
she shows the ring, and it's just like something you would have gotten at like JB Robinson Jewelers. It's not like an engagement ring. I mean, but it's still kind of the way he presented it was kind of weird.
I
mean, I'm
agree.
sure it's normal. I'm sure, like, I mean, my dad never presented me with any rings, but
Same. Ooh, it's sort of like Flowers in the Attic.
We got a little theme
Ah,
going there. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's like the dad relies on her to be his spouse
Yeah, like
almost.
a female
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't really get a clue from the mom what really went on. But
There are a lot of unanswered questions.
so dad gives Diane a ring. We go back to Lloyd's apartment and he's like doing the kickboxing and J-Man's like watching, basically playing. When they come in, again, Constance is kind of like mad because J-Man's all dirty. And Lloyd grabs the phone. It's like, I'll be in my office. He goes into the bathroom because he's gonna call Diane Court. I just noted the bottle of Dep in the shower. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, Dep. But then I was
Mm.
like, what Dep product would I have put in the shower? Because it looked like hair gel. Well,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe Lloyd does his hair, or maybe the mom does her hair in the shower. I don't know.
Well, because wasn't it like a big thing to put that in your hair when your hair was wet?
Yeah, true.
So maybe
That's
they
true.
did it that way. I don't
It's
know.
efficient. It was
Maybe
efficient.
they don't have enough storage space and they just had to use the shower to hold it.
Lloyd calls over to the courthouse, the court's house, and what's his name? I just keep calling him Dad. Is it Jim? Yeah, okay. So he calls over and Jim answers the phone and he kind of gives Lloyd the to do. Like is this the guy with the Datsun? Is this the guy with and I don't get the feeling. I don't know. Like I don't get this feeling that Diane goes out on a lot of dates. So I can't tell if he's
No.
Right.
ribbon or he's like or if like really she just had a very productive dating life.
Or
Yeah.
maybe he's like testing Lloyd to see how he reacts to that.
Or yeah, like he's putting him to some sort of weird test, but I didn't get the feeling that it was because she just has a lot of suitors.
No.
He tells Lloyd that she's not at home and Lloyd's just kind of a word vomiter. He just kind of talks and talks and talks and talks, which I love about him.
Yes, it's adorable.
And so Jim takes down Lloyd's number, blah blah blah. And right after that, Jim gets another call alerting him to something very exciting. And he immediately hops in the car to go to see Diane, which is at a nursing home that he runs that she works at. And he goes like into a prep room or something like that and lets her know that she has won this fellowship, the Reed Fellowship that is in London. And she, immediately her first reaction is, I have to get on a plane. There's something about planes, right? And so she does not want anything to do with that.
There's no real good way around that.
It really, really isn't unless you're going to get on the Queen Mary and head on over.
You take the slow boat.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Diane eventually calls Lloyd back. And he's kind of like, oh, thanks for calling me. She's kind of like, well, I'm just calling you back. And so he's trying to ask her out, but she's, I'm busy and I'm busy and I'm busy. But he finally gets an idea for her that she's kind of like, I really should do that thing. Not so much, I'm going to go out with Lloyd Dobler. It was like, this guy is going to take me to this party. And she's never gone to a party, right? And so she agrees and Lloyd comes over and he picks her up. He comes to the door. He is very congenial with the dad, which of course, I appreciate.
He's got his long
And
trench coat on.
he's got his trench coat on, the Clash shirt that he wears, I think, the entire movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so he's like, "You can trust me," blah 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 blah, and so they leave for the party at Eric Stoltz's house.
Yes.
And this is where he's almost immediately assigned keymaster duty. And maybe, I don't know how kids party these days. I should bring Alana in on that. I don't think it's the same. But, someone was relegated to being the sober person who determined whether you were able to drive home or not. And so that gets assigned to Lloyd. Shortly after, we see a young but also old Jeremy Piven. He's supposed to be a high schooler, but he looked 37. I didn't check his
Yeah,
age at the time of
hard to
this
tell.
film. Yeah, I can't tell. Then the chick from Heathers, and I'm only calling her the chick from Heathers because I don't know her by any other name. Well, Heather from Heathers. And the one kind of like alternative kid, kind of not exactly punk rock, but maybe he's a gay kid. I don't know. Not because he has hope. I don't know. He approaches Lloyd like, "How did you land this? Like, how did you?" Well, I called her up. Well, who are you? I'm Lloyd Dobler.
Yes.
I think that's the
love
next
that.
t-shirt. I think it's the next t-shirt. I'm Lloyd Dobler.
Yeah.
Boom.
Says it all.
At this party, we also have Corey. And Corey has her guitar, and she has written 63 songs about Joe, which during the course of this party jumps to 65 songs. And so she's sitting on the couch. There's a lot of songs about Joe, who is like the one kid who looks like a high school student in this. And so she's kind of holding court in the living room or something like that. And we see Dolores from Grease 2 sitting next door, which is adorable. And she grew in. She's such a cute teenager.
Yeah, she
Yes.
became like a real lady.
Yeah, she grew up.
She did. Lloyd's out front. And he's collecting keys. And he kind of leaves Diane alone because she goes off with Heather. And he kind of leaves her to her own devices, and I appreciate that. He's not completely on top of her, but not being like a creep. So I do appreciate that. And then Fraser's ex-wife gets out of a car, Bebe, Miss something. She gives me the vibe that she was a school counselor or a college counselor or something like that, because she's trying to get him to commit to something for his future.
This was so random.
It was. And
why is she at this party?
Yeah.
Well, right. But even before that, when she's just trying to get him to decide his future, he gives the most poignant, real answer.
College? I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for something bigger, you know? I'm looking for a dare-to-be-great situation.
Lloyd, everybody in that party put something on their record except you.
How many of them really know what they want, though? I mean, a lot of them think that they have to know, right? But inside, they don't really know, so...
Well, I
Yes.
don't know what I want to do, and neither do they. So I'm not going to waste my time. I think I'm destined for something greater, and I'm waiting to find out what that is. And it's just like, oh my God.
Right.
Yes.
You don't need to know the rest of your life the day of graduation.
Right. Or the day after, or 6 months after. You don't need to know. And I love that. But then she puts her keys in the key bag.
So I love in this scene where he says, "All I know is I don't know."
Yes.
I love that.
All I know is I don't know. I love that. I love that so much.
Like that makes
And
so much sense as a response. Like all I know about this is I don't know.
I don't know. And we get into that a little bit more detailed with Lloyd in a little bit, but I just, God, I love it so hard. And then we have Heather and Diane talking, and she's just constantly using air quotes. And it was like, is this where air quotes came from?
Right?
Did anyone use air quotes before this? And then Diane calling her dad from the party. Like she didn't say anything to her dad before leaving the house that she would call him, but then she's like on the phone with her dad during a party. And it's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? And then you turn around and she's got two girls that want her to sign their yearbook. And one of them is Tina from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm.
And they're both like, don't tell your dad anything. Like, I just come home crying and my dad leaves me alone. And it was, I tell my dad everything.
I thought it was funny. She's like, don't worry, I'll be home by dawn. Like, what? Dawn?
What?
You're on a first date with this dude and you're just telling your dad you'll be home at dawn?
Right.
Huh?
Where Lloyd had only said like that he was going to be with her for like the next 6 to 8 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's turned this into dawn.
At 8 o'clock. Yeah. He picked her up
Right.
at
Like
8.
she turned it into all night. I'm just saying, I don't know if that was
Yeah.
a script goof or what, but then we get back to Corey singing, and lo and behold, Joe shows up, and he is with China Phillips. I don't know if I wrote that down or not. He is with China Phillips from Wilson Phillips. That is the girlfriend that he's with.
Interesting.
And Corey is not happy. Not happy. And so Joe sort of like almost like mesmerized with this like stupid grin on his face, like starts walking towards her. And Lloyd kind of stops him and is like, bro, come on. She's written 65 songs and they're all about you and pain. And you've got to stop this. She's a human being. And he's like, well, yeah, that's why I keep all her tapes. She's going to be famous one day. And it's just one of those toxic fuckboys who all of us know a few of these guys. All of us do. Yeah. And, then we're outside at the party and all of a sudden you see this chicken run in. I don't know if he has a megaphone or if he just yells. He's like, Lakewood, have no fear. And do it like something like, do we do it another year? And then everyone just like
Ambushes.
And like everyone's like picking the feathers off of him. And
you didn't do that in high school, Kristin?
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
You were probably really drunk. You probably don't remember.
I can't guarantee that I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. And Diane's kind of, she's amused by this. Like, is this kind of like a thing? And Lloyd's just happy. He's just happy to be there. And then he just dives into it as well. And then we go back and Corey is getting a Diet Coke out of a refrigerator of Diet Coke. I don't know what that was supposed to stand for.
Diet Coke was
did this family
popular.
Right? Did the family just have like maybe a garage Diet Coke refrigerator? Because that was a shitload of Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And Joe comes in and back up. Corey was talking to Diane earlier in the evening, and she was just again telling her about Joe, and he was the first sex she had, and the next time I see him, all I'm going to say is, "Hi, Joe. How are you?" And that's it. And Diane's kind of like, okay, crazy girl. Okay, well, he's on the other side of the house, so you should be okay. So we get to this scene, and Joe kind of slinks into this dark room, which could be a garage. I'm not sure. And Corey's standing at that refrigerator, and she's like, "Hi, Joe. How are you? I love you." And
Aw.
Corey, you were so
Aw.
close.
So close.
So close, but we get it. We get it. We get it. And he does this thing. He's like, I'm gonna break up with Mimi because she's gonna go to college and I'm gonna be alone and I can't be alone. So I think you and I should be together. And she thinks she's hearing what she's always wanted to hear. And they go in and they hug, and he's like, "Can we have sex right now?" And that opens her eyes,
Yep.
pushes him away, and she goes, "Goodbye, Joe." And that was a wonderful sort of, as we don't see Corey a ton in this movie, but that sort of shows some growth there where she realizes she's never
Yeah.
going to be his number one, his priority. She never will be.
Little bit of closure there of that chapter.
Yeah. And so Eric Stoltz and Lloyd and Diane are standing around, and Jeremy Piven comes in from like stage left and just runs into Lloyd, like, "Give me my Firebird keys, give me my fire," and he's just like, "Dude, chill.
Chill.
Yes.
Chill." And he's like, "Okay, because I'm just gonna take a nap right here," and he just goes and he falls on the ground. And it's fantastic.
It was great.
And so Lloyd's like, my duties as keymaster are over. And he, dumps the bag, but there's one set of keys left. And they're like, oh no. So they go and they find that kid who Lloyd had talked to earlier in that night, just vomit soaked bathroom. And so they got to get him home somehow. And so what this turns into is Lloyd and Diane driving Greater Seattle for 3 hours, because you hear it at the beginning with the radio show and you hear it at the end with the radio show. And they finally get this kid home and they stop at a 7-Eleven. They're walking, and somehow the story of her mom comes up and she's like, "You don't want to hear this." And he was like, "Sure I do." Like, he wants to hear her. He wants to hear her words. He wants to hear her stories. And they're walking and there's just like a bunch of broken glass on the ground. And he's like, "Oh, stop. Let's get you to walk around this." And
I love how he kicks it.
he kicks it, which
Like,
did nothing.
that defeats the purpose.
And, so they're walking home. I don't know where the car went. Maybe he left it at the 7-Eleven and they just walked back. I don't know. I'm not questioning it. It's fine. And so they're walking back to Diane's house, and she says, "I've never gone out with anyone as basic as you before."
Yeah. Which right off the rip sounds negative, but then it can also be endearing.
I think she's just being factual. I don't think it was a dig.
Yeah.
She was just in her data-driven brain. It was like, but it also leads you to believe that she's gone out with other guys.
Yes.
So they get to an agreement where it's like, I'm going to call you later. And so Diane comes into the house and she's so happy. She tells her dad she's so happy she went. She's so happy that she, went to the party, and that she does feel like she did miss out on a lot of stuff in high school. And he's telling her, no, you're on the path. You're on the path. And that made me start to sort of think, like, he was having her live out his, like, what he didn't do,
Mhm.
like, he has her on his path, not maybe necessarily her path. And so we get to a point here where it's like kind of their second date, but it's also dinner.
Yes.
And they're in her room and she's like through like bathroom closet door showing him some dresses. Should I wear this or should I wear this? Which I thought was interesting for a guy she doesn't know at all.
Right.
Like, and he's in her room like smelling the like brain thing, like
Yeah.
sculpture.
The model.
Yes.
The model
Like,
brain.
you're asking the guy who's sniffing your brain model what dress you should wear. And
But just goes to show how comfortable she felt around him.
yes, like this immediate comfort, like
Mhm.
no anxiety, which you could tell she was
Yeah.
kind of an anxiety
Oh, yes.
prone person. And she was just very at ease with him.
Mhm.
And she says, I know this is kind of weird, but doing this as the second time we're hanging out, I don't think she calls it a date. And she mentions to Lloyd that it's dinner with her father's accountant. Write that down. And a couple people that work at the nursing home. You don't think anything of it, right? You're just like, okay. And so they're at the dinner, and the way Diane and her father are in this scene, I want to see it as endearing, but I don't. You know what did we just watch recently? Or no. What I watched, that movie or the documentary about the mom who texted her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
That was so messed up.
Unknown
The
number. Unknown
catfish.
number.
Yeah,
The
unknown number.
catfish. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I also watched, like, Kendall Ray's version of it as well. But there's a lot of talk about it being, like, this new sort of digital Munchausen's by
Mhm.
proxy in a digital world. And I don't know, for some reason, that came to my mind in this scene. I know they have really no parallels, but it was like there's something they acted like a couple. Like, they riffed off of each other. They told each other stories. Like, we finished each other's sandwiches, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a weird dynamic.
it is a weird dynamic. And then they go into the story about the airplane and how when she was young, like she knew all the dynamics of an airplane and she was going with her dad down to LA and she ended up screaming. They had to turn the plane around, which sounds super dramatic for a screaming kid. And the air marshals like ask her to please not fly the friendly skies again. Other thing that came out of that was there was like a recording studio guy on that plane and he like got their contact information and they came over and recorded her screams. And to this day, you can hear those screams in a commercial. So that's kind of the punchline of the story. And
How adorable.
Lloyd kind of goes, I love how you two are together. I love how, you two act around each other. And I've never had that with anybody. Which is so that's a vulnerable thing to say.
Mhm.
And the accountant guy is sort of like, okay, so you graduated as well, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I did. So what are you gonna do with, with your life, basically? And Jim sits down, yeah, Lloyd, what are you gonna do with your life? And that's when we have the famous. I don't know. I've thought about it quite a bit, sir. And I would have to say, considering what's waiting out there for me, I don't want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career. I don't want to sell anything bought or processed or buy anything sold or processed, to process anything sold, bought, or processed, or repair anything sold, bought, or processed. As a career, I don't want to do that. So my father's in the Army. He wants me to join, but I can't work for that corporation. So what I've been doing lately is kickboxing, which is a new sport, but I think it's got a good future. As far as career longevity, I don't really know because you can't really tell train 6 as a fighter. I couldn't get that one. It's no good. You have to be great. And I can't really tell if I'm great till I've had a couple of pro fights, but I haven't been knocked down yet. I don't know. I can't figure it out tonight. So I'm just going to hang with your daughter. And
Love
it's
that.
just, if I could put that on a shirt, I would.
You probably could.
It just, yeah, it's like, I don't want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career. I love it. I just, and you just kind of get and then he gets up and he kind of turns around and he compliments the jukebox. And even Jim sort of does this like wink, wink towards the accountant. You don't really pay attention to it, maybe your first few times watching the movie, but in hindsight, you do. He goes, yeah, that was a little matter of $9,000 to worship, whatever the name of the jukebox was. And
A Wurlitzer?
Wurlitzer. Am I an
How do
idiot
you-
for not knowing that?
How do you not know jukeboxes, Kristin?
Jeez.
Wurlitzer is like top tier jukebox.
The more you know.
Yes, the more you know.
So this is a
Wurlitzer.
dinner. This is a dinner party, and government workers always work at night. So the IRS shows up knocking at the door. And this does happen. The IRS will come to your door. Come to your door at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I just don't. I just don't think the government pays them to do that. But they show up at the door, and again, weird. Jim and Diane answer the door together. That's something a husband and wife would do, or just the husband. Like, anyway.
The codependency here is really coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to go off on a tangent, I do think because of the divorce and because of her choosing her dad, I think she has to convince herself that he's great. She has to convince herself that she made that right choice by not going to live with her mom. And so IRS basically tells Jim, you're under investigation, And he's like, come to my place of business. Don't bother me at home. This night is over. Go. And so the next day, maybe, or, within a few days, I don't know. I don't know the timeline. Diane has lunch with her mom, who's played by somebody who's like relatively like familiar looking, but really, I don't think she was really in anything. And she asks her to be nice to the IRS about her dad. And the mom is kind of like, she's not telling her daughter something, obviously, because it's not her daughter's business what happened in her marriage. But she's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to say anything nice about your dad. And Diane won't let it go, right? She's like, I'm not letting this go until you agree to say something nice about dad to the IRS. And it's like, I don't think saying nice things to the IRS is going to do, anything at all. Again, a different day. On a different day, Lloyd and Diane are on the phone, and somehow they get into this conversation about him not liking old people. And he's biased against old people. And she goes into this whole thing, and he's like, you know what? You're right. I don't give them a chance, because he had one bad experience or something, right? And so he meets her at the nursing home, and they like have a day of it. And he gets to meet some of the residents, and They watch Cocoon, which I still don't think I've seen.
No,
Is that
no
is that
interest.
an
Me
80s
either.
movie? I don't have any interest either. And then, again, it's a different day. They're having coffee, maybe at like a diner, like at or a donut shop or something like that. And Diane kind of goes into this, things are heavy right now. And she can't tell him why. She doesn't want to tell Lloyd about the IRS issues. But like these things are weighing really heavy on her. Plus, she's supposed to leave for London and she has to get on an airplane. And it's just too much for her. And she just doesn't want complications. And handle is the wrong word. He works with her so well. He doesn't
Extremely well.
right. He doesn't overreact. He processes what she is saying and then he gives something back to her. Which, if everyone could just talk to each other like this, I think our world would be a much, much better place.
Absolutely.
And it's like, okay, well, let's be friends. Okay. Well, what about friends with potential? Okay, friends with potential. She likes that. That feels okay to her. That feels safe to her. But then they immediately start basically dating,
Right.
like immediately. And he teaches her how to drive the Ford Tempo. And there's a whole kind of musical montage of them kissing in the rain.
That driving lesson really reminded me of you teaching me.
She did much better than you did.
Totally
Oh,
better.
God.
I still can't do it. It's not happening.
It wasn't me.
It's totally not you. It's all me. I have no coordination.
I don't know if it's a left brain, right? Well, you're left-handed, though.
So are you.
Right. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. You should have gotten this.
Kristin never taught me how to drive stick.
You never asked. She asked.
Dang.
Will you teach me?
Do you have a stick shift car?
I'll buy one. Just so you can teach me.
Buy a Ford Tempo.
Yeah, there you go. Get a 1989 Ford Tempo. I think the last we had a Mercedes C-Class that was manual transmission.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and that's when we were like, and that was a very low to the ground car.
Yeah.
Oh God. Getting out of that thing was horrible. And we were both like, Tavia and I were like, we're done. We're too old to get off from the ground out of this car. And our knees hurt.
Yes.
We're done.
Yep. One day I will learn.
Okay.
Yeah. Goals.
And then we get to the scene where they appear to be oceanside in his Malibu. They're in the back seat as all romantic things happen. And you hear Peter Gabriel's song.
Your
eyes. Oh my God, how do I not know the name of the song?
Like the heat. Come on, Jeannine.
I am complete in your eyes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now they're not having tarp sex.
Back in your eyes. I want to touch the light, the heat I see in your eyes. In your eyes.
Thank you. Oh, that was really good.
Thank you.
So they're having dirty blanket sex.
Better than a tarp.
It's better than a tarp. And they've just finished doing whatever they've done. And Lloyd is drenched in sweat, but not like Michael J. Fox drenched in sweat.
Thank God.
But he's like sweaty and he's shivering. And it just, this is a very tender moment between these two children. And it resonates with you. Like you mark that. Okay, this was a very meaningful time for them, right? And So Diane goes home. She has spent the night out, but she has not told her dad. And he's pissed. He's pissed that she was out all night. He didn't know. And he's valid. He's 100% valid in that. Was he supposed to call hospitals? Was he supposed? I've had some kids not come home when they were supposed to, and that is, it's nerve-wracking. It's an anxiety nobody deserves to have. And so he is valid in his anger.
And it's not like today where we can just track our kids.
Yeah, put an
Right.
air tag on them.
Yeah.
right. You know, find
my didn't exist back then.
Find my kid.
So once people left, you just had no idea where they were really going.
No. Again, I think did I post that on the Schirmer page? So I think I posted like it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Right.
Nobody knew where we were.
And it was
she
beautiful.
And it was beautiful. But we were also like, we knew the rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We knew to get the fuck home or bad shit was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
But it never did.
So we're just going to adopt Carole fully into Gen X right now, so she doesn't have to take the blame of any of this. But, you know, you do have this millennial generation who became the soft parenting, the democracy parenting,
Mm-hmm.
where now we've got Gen Z are circling back to fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like they're, you know, so it is coming back around, which I'm happy about. Is like, go ahead, touch that fucking stove burner. You'll figure it out. Where more in the millennial world, it was all about using soft words and so she tells her dad what has happened. I don't like how she tells the story of it though.
No.
But then at the end of it,
no,
you understand.
Then it's funny.
But then I attacked him. I was like, oh, girl, get it. And so she tells her. And she's also starting to become more and more concerned about this IRS investigation. He keeps trying to tell her, don't worry about this. This is just all bullshit. Don't worry about it. And there are like 3 scenes smashed together, which I don't understand why it was shot this way, but whatever. So there's a scene where Jim comes home. She's sitting at one of the desks and I think she's writing out checks or something. And she questions whether or not she should go to London. And he's like, no, this is not a question. This is, you're going to London. You can't worry about me. You got to go. Then it cuts to a different day and they're standing somewhere and it's like the same conversation. And then it cuts again to them in the kitchen and the way he is like keying in that maybe this has something to do with Lloyd is semi-valid. That it is semi-valid as a parent to question that this new in troubleshooting 101, it's like, what has changed? IRS investigation, but also there's this new guy in your life. And he doesn't pressure her, but he just sort of is like, you need to let this guy go. And here, you could give him this pen. What? She's like, I'm not going to give him a pen. And then he gets all upset, not at her, but at himself, but in a passive aggressive way. Woe is me, but also fuck you. It was a strange, what am I doing? I shouldn't be projecting my stuff onto you, but he was saying it in such a way that he was making it her fault too. And I didn't like that. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but they have this moment where they hug and he rips himself away from her and walks out of the kitchen. And I don't get that. There's something like some psychology that's being employed here that it's like, I don't know. I'm going to let it go, but So then we see Lloyd is teaching a kickboxing class. So he's got a little job.
And
and
it's
all the little kids-
adorable. It's all these
And it's
little
so
tiny
cute.
kids.
It's all these adorable little kids. They're learning, and he gets a phone call, and it's obviously Diane. He's like, I can't believe they're paying me to do this. It's super cute. He says he's going to go and pick her up in an hour. And this is, they're driving, and he's about to tell her, like, he's ready to tell, like, things are starting to feel good in Lloyd's life, right? And he wants to tell her something, and again, word vomit. He's like, but I don't know how I'm gonna. And she goes, I think I know what you're gonna say. And he goes, you don't know how what I'm gonna say. And he says, I love you, as she is saying, basically, I think we need to spend some time apart. And again, as Lloyd does, he's processing the words she's saying, and he's giving it back to her. But he is realizing over the seconds and seconds that she's breaking up with him. And, he has pulled over the car, and she gives him the pen,
Ugh.
and she gets out of the car. And that's that.
Yeah. The pen is to write to her.
Oh yeah, she does say, she does give it a little soft blow, but still, she gave
Yeah.
him the fucking pen. So Lloyd is driving around. You see him, it's pouring rain. He is in a phone booth, and he's on the phone with his sister. He's just, I don't know what to do. How do I get her back? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. And he gives the next pivotal line of the movie. I gave her my heart. She gave me a pen.
Classic.
And he's
classic
driving
line.
around more. He's like recording on a tape recorder like Dad used to. And
I didn't really understand that.
I know, I'm like,
Was he
is it
rec-
something he's gonna mail Corey? Is Corey gone and he has
Yeah.
to send something to her? Like, I don't
Wha-
understand why he was doing this exactly, but it gave some context to the scene, I guess.
Yeah, it was
And
weird.
the one thing he said was like, the girl made me trust myself. And that was so sad. That was so sad.
Yeah.
And so, for whatever reason, so he ends up over at the Sip and Suds. So that's where all the dudes are hanging out. And they're all giving him their opinions about chicks, right?
Oh yeah, go find
And
a
it's
chick who
all
looks just like her.
like
Break
her.
up with her.
Yeah, bang her and break up with her. And then like this little kid's just bitches, man. I gotta get home.
Yeah, I gotta
And Joe
go.
is, so it's Jeremy Piven, and then Joe, some other guy, and then the little kid, and the little kid leaves. And so they're giving him all this like terrible advice about women. Like, he was like, if you guys know so much about women, then why are you hanging around sipping suds at 9:00 on a Saturday night?
With no women around.
And no women around.
Right.
And they would kind of all look at, by choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. And Joe approaches Lloyd and is like, name any chick. I'll get you any chick. Get your mind off of this. And he's like, Diane Court. He's like, I can't do that one. We see Diane's dad. He's in a store shopping for some luggage. Very, luggage of the late 80s, early 90s.
I remember going shopping for luggage with Mom.
Is that a core memory you have?
Yeah.
Where were
Okay.
you going?
Okay, now this is going to sound weird, but there was some sort of store at Westgate, and I don't know if it was like a separated building from like a department store.
The Dillard's home store?
Maybe. And so you'd go into that store and they had all their luggage displayed and you could buy like each piece. And I remember mom picking out like a big piece of luggage and then this is why it triggered it was because I remember him saying, you know, I'll take the whole set. And she said the same thing, like I'll just take the whole set.
Oh,
So it was
Nice.
almost like the same thing.
Yeah, it was that building that like Jax ended up being in, right?
yeah. That was the
Yeah,
Dillard's home
And
store.
then the Dillard's home store was that like
Yeah.
I remember going in there and buying luggage. I don't
At
remember a
some
whole lot, but that's one thing I remember.
I believe that was where we had to go to buy video games for the oh, I'm
Odyssey?
not gonna the
Atari.
Odyssey. No, it was the
We didn't have
Odyssey.
we didn't have an Atari. We had an Odyssey.
We didn't have an Atari gaming console. We did have an Atari computer. Yeah.
Correct.
And that had like the diskette stuff, but this was for the cartridges.
Yeah, but like buying luggage nowadays is just it's so different than like back then. It was like a big deal. You'd go in and like pick out your
Yeah.
pattern. You'd pick out what pieces out of that pattern that you wanted.
I mean, and
Yeah.
you know what? We can't have nice things because
No.
no matter how nice of a piece of luggage you get, it is going to get thrown around, dropped, and not by you.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
we've got some of the nicest Delsey luggage that has been beaten to shit. Like there's just nothing you can do about it. And again, it sucks because there are not a lot of recycle places you can take luggage that is broken, like full blown broken. Anyway, luggage talk. Okay.
Yeah, luggage talk.
So Jim is in that store and I'm going to buy the whole set. The lady's kind of flirting with him. Card gets declined. Gives her another card. That card gets declined. So he's embarrassed. The guy next to him, who has no reason to be standing there, is kind of like, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
bro. And so he leaves. He thanks her for being so kind.
Yeah, and she's like,
he's-
I'm supposed to cut it up.
And
But I
she
won't
gives
do
it to
that.
him. She's so
Yeah.
nice. And so then you see him at home and he's sitting in the bathroom and he knows that the walls are closing in on him. He knows that stuff's getting bad. And then you see, you know, Diane rolling around in bed, fitful sleep. And that's when you hear In Your Eyes start playing outside of her window, where they cut over to John or Lloyd standing outside his car with the boombox above his head, which is
It's just such a good scene.
everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows that still.
Yeah.
So
They
I
may
told
not know
my
it.
I told my
Go ahead.
coworker today because I was watching it at work. I was like, I have to catch up on this movie. And she's like, what movie is this week? And I said, Say Anything. She's like, oh, I don't know that one. Like the movie with the guy in the trench coat with the boombox over his head. She's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
everyone
I'm-
knows
Yeah.
that still picture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
it's-
Alana, I watched it again today. I had to finish watching it again today for like the third time. I watch these movies a lot. And Alana was watching it with me and she was like, so is this taken from like a different boombox over the head sort of I was like, no, this is the OG boombox over the head. I'm like, everyone else is taken from this moment.
And this was the scene where you were like, man, I want a boyfriend like Lloyd Dobler. I want somebody to stand outside of my house with a boombox.
to fight for you.
Yeah,
Right,
to fight
yeah.
for me, even though my dad is here and everything's weird, like he's still, it's like a little nod. Like he's not actually knocking on the door, he's not bugging her, but he's just like,
Mhm.
hey, I hope you can hear this song because this is the song we did it to.
He's making his presence known without being annoying.
Right.
Right. And then a note, a trivia note was both actors in the famous boombox scene were filmed separately, which makes sense. John
Yeah.
Cusack held the boombox in the middle of a park in North Hollywood across from a 7-Eleven.
Cool.
So, like, this specifically, like, I think there's different moments in this movie where, I mean, I haven't had really any cringe moments happen in this movie at all. Which to me, this far into the movie is like, this is this could be Hall of Fame worthy. Is what he did with the boombox romantic and sweet or weird and stalkery?
I think it was sweet.
I think it was sweet.
Okay. Yeah, so do I. But just like looking at different things on the internet this week, it was like, no, this was pure emotion. This was
Mm-hmm.
heartbreak. This was this was
He wasn't out there 24/7 doing it.
no.
That would be stalkerish.
So Diane goes to the IRS and she like tries to maybe dress up as a person,
A lady.
a lady, an adult, and goes into this IRS agent and pleading, will somebody talk to me? Will somebody talk to me? What do we need to do here? My dad's a good guy. Blah, blah, blah. IRS agent, we have an ironclad case against your dad. We can't, like, he didn't do it. He did. And I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, but he did. And he's like, check for yourself. Is your house nice but not too nice? Do you have, he starts pointing out some things and he tells her exactly what it is. It's basically Medicare fraud. It's robbery. It's, so he's laying it all out there for her. And she goes home and she's sitting on the couch and she looks at her ring. And because he's like, look for things that may have been around $9,000. So there must have been some tax thing that if you stayed
Yeah.
under $10,000, it wasn't
You didn't have to report
reportable.
it.
Yeah. And then they could call them gifts.
Right.
And so she runs over to the desk. She starts rifling through, which I didn't appreciate. I'm like, what do you don't know what you're right. You're not even looking at things to like
Right.
look for anything. You're just moving papers.
Yeah.
And she was like, they made me doubt you. And she, kind of goes back to that. But then she looks at that chest that he had pulled the ring out of originally. And she takes a letter opener over to it and she breaks into it, which I can't imagine was too hard to do. Well, it wasn't hard for her to do. And she opens it up and it's just full of cash. And so she knows in that moment he's been lying to her the whole time. And so you see her driving like a bat out of hell in her Ford Tempo to
Oh yeah. She knows how to drive stick now.
Yeah.
now she knows
learned-
how to drive stick.
She learned that stick
professionally.
really well.
Real good.
I should have her teach me.
She's got some professional like downshifting
moves.
happening there. And she goes into the nursing home, into that like prep room, and she asks him one more time, do you do this? Did you do it? And he's just lying to her face. And she tells, I found the money. And you just see, and I think this is John Mahoney was a great actor.
Mhm.
You just see it in his face where he turns from I don't know, sympathetic liar to an actual liar. And,
It
he's
was
like, you don't,
oh shit, I'm caught face.
and then he and again, he does this weird thing where he just starts to gaslight her into, well, this is all for you.
Right.
This is all for you, for when you come back. So you have to not ever depend on anyone else. Like he cannot stand the thought of his daughter having to have a husband or, rely on somebody else.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what she does. And he takes it as her accepting this. And he kind of is like, that's right. Work it out. Work it out. It's, this is going to be okay. And she's like, no. And she leaves him. And we see Lloyd. He's at the boxing place doing the boxing,
Yeah. Doing the kickboxing.
doing the things with the hitting. And we see Diane enter with the boxing front desk guy. He's like,
Yeah.
hey, Lloyd,
The
somebody's here."
receptionist.
The receptionist guy. Hey, there's somebody here. And he looks at her and he just gets punched in the face. It's fantastic. And Diane walks in and they have a back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And she's like, everything was true. My dad's done all these things. And they reconcile. That's the best way to put that. They reconcile. And then we go to the attorneys who are negotiating this case,
The
right?
best part about when Lloyd and Diane are kind of having that interchange is when he says, do you need me or do you
Me?
just need somebody?
Someone.
And
Yes.
then he makes her say, no, I need you.
No, he doesn't. He goes, forget it. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And they kiss her hug and she responds,
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. And right. So we're at the lawyers. They're getting the plea agreement together.
Which was a
and
really good deal.
was
I
a
actually-
really good deal.
Because Hector and I were talking about that today. Like we were going over the movie. And I said, he only got 9 months and he had to pay this $125 or $125,000 fine or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's not very realistic. He's like, that's a fantastic deal for what he did. He's like, and nowadays that guy would have been sitting in prison for
Well, what's
decades.
$125,000 today?
Uh-oh, Carole, you're up.
Oh, jeez.
Because we don't know how much money he pilfered. White collar crime. I'd be interested to know what $125,000 is today. And so it appears that, Jim's attorney is like, yeah, I'll float this past Mike. Yeah, this is fine. He accepts it.
310,000.
300,000, 9 months in a minimum security prison.
Yeah. He got off easy.
So he did. And we come kind of to the closing of this movie, and you see Lloyd's car parked outside of a sign for the Spokane Correctional Facility. And they've gone there to see her dad, but she has decided she doesn't want to go in, so Lloyd does. And Lloyd's just being himself, and he's just talking to Jim, and he's just being a human. And Jim is just an asshole back to him. He's just
which is
an
really nice because
asshole.
like Lloyd didn't need to go in. I'd have been like, this is your dad. Like
He didn't. And that it just shows this emotional maturity
Yeah. Like
that not a lot of people have as adults.
Right, because most people would have just been like, hey, we're here for you to see your dad. But so that Jim wasn't, during visitation, that he wasn't alone, to think that nobody showed up for him, that Lloyd actually went in and met with him so that he wouldn't be alone.
Well, and his only concern is, are you going to England with her?
Yeah, fuck you, dude.
And it's like, it's like the dad didn't learn a fucking thing. That you get to the end of this movie and it's like, and you get that because Diane does show up. And she does, I don't know what else to say except goodbye. And she gives him the pen.
Yes.
Which, yeah, you can't do that. Prison. You can't give a prisoner a pen.
No, you can't give him anything.
That will be a shank in 2 minutes.
Yeah, no.
He's
no.
in
But
minimum
she get,
security.
but I think that was a
So,
symbolism of something
yeah,
there. And so
it was a symbolizing letting go because he gave her the pen to give Lloyd as a letting go.
but
Yes.
so back to when Jim and Lloyd were talking, and Jim was just like, what are you going to do with your life? You're a temporary piece of Diane's life. And he rebuts it, and he was just like, what I want to do with my life, what I want to do for a living is I want to be with your daughter.
Correct answer, sir.
From the surface, it's like, that is the most romantic, lovely gesture ever. But homeboy, you're also going to need to get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I like, anybody could say that, and that's like super romantic, but also you're not just going to like live off of her intelligence. I know that that's
Live
not
off
the
of
intent.
love.
Right. Because obviously she's going to be some uber famous think tank lady. I don't know. And, and he just calls her, and Jim just calls Lloyd a distraction. And he goes, I'm a distraction that's going to England with her, sir. And it was just like, boom,
Mhm.
mic drop.
Yeah. Fuck you, Jim.
And Jim gets up and he kind of walks away from Lloyd, but Lloyd still shows grace. Are you okay,
Mhm.
sir? Are you doing okay? And he turns around and he just screams at him, I'm incarcerated, Lloyd.
No shit.
Right.
So in an interview with John Mahoney, that is a line he screams at John Cusack every time he saw him.
That's great.
I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
When you do see Diane and her dad sort of not reconcile, but sort of have this
Understanding.
sense of
Yeah,
closure and understanding. Here's the pen. Here's the breakup. Goodbye.
Mhm.
Lloyd is sort of sitting off to the side, and you can tell he's happy. He's happy that they do have this moment. And so then we see Lloyd packing up his space at the house. I guess he just sleeps in the living room. And he's
got a big duffel bag.
He does. He has a big duffel bag, and
Probably the military grade one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And we see on the next scene him and Diane are sitting, middle two of a 342 configuration airplane. Like a 343, sorry. And he's explaining to her everything that's happening because she's scared. She doesn't want to fly. And he's explaining the engines and the liftoff, and it's like roller coasters. Everybody loves roller coasters. And then, this things you don't hear anymore. He's like, well, not this, but, typically if anything goes wrong, it goes wrong in the first 5 minutes after takeoff. And once you see that no smoking sign go off, you're in the clear. And it's like, well, that's something you're not going to hear anymore these days. Except when you're in an old ass aircraft when that no smoking is still there.
Yes.
It doesn't work,
Right.
but it's still there. And so, he's got his arm around her and they're both just staring at the no smoking sign. And he's like, any minute now. Any minute. And then ding, and it cuts to black. And it's the perfect ending.
Where's the ding?
It's coming. Any second now. Any second now.
Yes.
This scene reminded me of when Annie and I were flying towards Nantucket, but I think we flew into Boston, and it was her first flight. And I was explaining
Ever?
yes. So I was explaining all of
Wow.
the noises and what was happening. And there was kind of a weird sound that happened. And she's like, "What was that?" I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, it's normal." And you hear the guy behind us say, "Well, that didn't sound good."
Oh no.
And I'm like, dude.
You've had a few good adventures to Nantucket in airplanes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was me. I had a freak out too, didn't I?
They won't stop turning.
We're just circling the fucking airport.
Circle. And we did that.
We're gonna die.
We did that last summer around Washington, D.C. Just turning and turning and turning. And it's like, would you land the fucking plane?
It's such a cluster over there. Ugh.
I digress.
And that is Say Anything.
What a wonderful flick.
It really is.
So, Rotten Tomatoes gave us a 98%.
Dang.
Dang.
Right.
Balls to the wall.
What? We've never reviewed.
Yeah.
We haven't reviewed anything near this high.
No. That's awesome. And they got an
Yeah.
85% on the popcorn meter. So that's crazy. So the website's critics consensus reads, one of the definitive Generation X movies. Say Anything is equally funny and heartfelt, and it established John Cusack as an icon for left of center types everywhere. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And giving the film 4 out of 4 stars, Chicago Sun-Times film critic Roger Ebert called Say Anything one of the best films of the year, a film that is really about something, that cares deeply about the issues it contains, and yet it also works wonderfully as a funny, warm-hearted romantic comedy. He later included it in his 2002 Great Movie List, writing, "Say Anything exists entirely in a real world, is not a fantasy or a pious parable, has characters who we sort of recognize, and is directed with care for the human feelings involved." That was very well said.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Very much agree. In a less positive review, Variety called it a half-baked love story full of good intentions, but uneven in the telling. But the review also said the film's appealing tale of an undirected army brat proving himself worthy of the most exceptional girl in high school elicits a few laughs, plenty of smiles, and some genuine feeling. Whatever, Variety.
Yeah, whatever, Variety. I should have mentioned this earlier, and I'm remiss to not mention that this movie was Cameron Crowe's directorial debut.
Oh, lovely.
He was a screenwriter on Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but then he wrote and directed Say Anything. So we'd be terrible people to not mention Sir Cameron Crowe.
Oh, he did a wonderful job.
He really did.
Kudos, Crow.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this movie, Jeannine?
I love it. I think it's a classic. I love Lloyd Dobler. I would just say that, it's probably one of my top movies.
Would you say it's Hall of Fame worthy?
I guess it depends on how many movies can we put in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think it's
True.
a limit. I
Okay.
think it's if it goes into the classics vault,
Yeah.
it becomes like our most revered movies.
I would say yes. It should
Okay.
be in our top movies.
And are you watching this on a Saturday?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If it comes on, I'm going to watch it. It's a great
Carole?
movie. Love the story.
Sorry. Yeah. I fully agree. Yeah.
Where do you put it on the cringe meter?
Oh, not at all.
0.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
Agreed. I also put it at not really. Very 0 star on the cringe level. I don't know if I would put it in the Hall of Fame yet. It is a classic, but I don't feel like there's I don't know. I just don't feel like it hit me like that yet. I don't know if it will, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it in the Hall of Fame at this point.
What do we have in the Hall of Fame? Breakfast Club? I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
remember.
I think only Breakfast
Pee-wee's
Club.
Big Adventure.
Oh,
yeah.
Breakfast
Yeah.
Club and Pee-wee's are
Yeah.
both in it.
Yeah. So I feel like this is a extremely good storyline, great directing, great filming. And I would definitely watch it on a Saturday. It just isn't nothing, no super one-liners stick out to me that I would be recalling. What?
I'm Lloyd Dobler.
But that's not something everyone's been saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe in your.
I gave
Yeah.
her my
I
heart,
mean, I
and
get
she
it.
gave me a
She
pen.
gave me a pen.
Yeah, I just don't find that to be all over the place.
Okay.
Once you see
fair.
the movie again, you remember it. But no, I wouldn't put in the Hall of Fame, but it's a phenomenal movie, and I would definitely rewatch it. I feel
How
like
do we
it
determine?
aged very well.
Okay. Are you? Did you say you're watching it?
Yes.
So what determines if something gets in the Hall of Fame or not? Majority or 100%?
I'd say majority.
Yeah, majority.
Okay,
I
great.
just think we have to just vote it in.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much I loved this movie before watching it again this week. It sort of takes this back seat to the Brat Pack movies, I feel, because they're Brat Pack movies. But this script, this movie, these actors all stand on their own. They're all of it's almost near perfect. You know, up there with like Back to the Future was so close, I think, to Hall of Fame, but just like
Yeah.
just missed it. But I think this one to me is a slam dunk Hall of Fame, aged well. Your kids should watch it, your grandchildren should watch it. It has raw emotion in it. And I think we don't see that enough in really well-made movies. And I will be watching it on a Saturday if it were to ever come on, which obviously isn't going to happen because this is the hardest movie to get a hold of.
Yeah, you can't watch it.
Now, for comparison, even though we haven't done it yet, if you had to choose one between Say Anything or Some Kind of Wonderful being in the young love realm, which would you choose over that?
Probably this one.
That's tough because I don't have Some Kind of Wonderful fresh in my mind.
I know. See, neither do I,
Okay.
and I have to
Like
remember
and I haven't
like-
watched it in a while, so I feel like if we rewatched that and like had every little tidbit
Yeah.
fresh in our minds.
okay. Re-ask. I think I have this on calendar. I think this is on our calendar.
I
So
think
we have to ask this question after we watch that movie. And
because
then we'll
that's
be able
what
to.
I'm comparing to in terms of like I feel like that teenager love story kind of impacts me more than this one. So that's
Valid. And that's
What?
valid. That's valid.
right. So we just have to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah. But this one, I like it.
It's timeless.
It's almost a perfect movie. And I think it definitely is up there with Breakfast Club and Pee-wee's. Absolutely. 100%.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Great.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Some movies stay with you because they remind you of who you were.
It's rare for a movie from this era to feel this honest. No fake happy ending, no big speech that fixes everything. Just two people choosing to show up for each other, even when it's hard.
That's why Say Anything earns its spot in the Schirmer High Hall of Fame. It's simple, it's messy, and it's real. We never stopped rooting for Lloyd and Diane, or for the idea that love, at its best, is just about showing up.
Thanks for joining us at the Schirmer High Alumni Association. If you had as much fun as we did, hit follow, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow 80s movies lovers. And until next time, be kind and don't forget to rewind. Bye.
Bye.